There's been a plague going around my Deadlock games, more so a terrorist, and that terrorist is none other than Bebop. I mean, he literally runs in, bombs you, and has little concern for his life. This video is about Bebop and how it feels like one of the most annoying heroes to play against. Part of this is of course his bomb stack mechanic, where each successfully landed bomb increases its damage by 1%, and each bomb kill increases its damage by 2.5%. These numbers also scale with spirit power. At the core, the scaling mechanic seems fine, and other heroes have very similar mechanics of this increasing power, like Drifter's isolated kills, giving permanent damage, or Grey Talon's ult giving spirit power on kills. But for some reason, these heroes aren't sadistic maniacs like the average Bebop. Now my fundamental issue with Bebop is he gets rewarded even though he might not necessarily play well. For example, he runs in, lands a bomb dealing 100 damage, and takes 200 damage. For simplicity's sake and ignoring context, this is a horrible trade that kind of benefits Bebop because of these bomb stacks. You might argue then, in theory, it is a good trade, and I would partially agree with you. A Bebop is able to forego favorable trades early game in order to snowball into the mid/late game. As long as he continues to get bomb stacks, it will eventually pay off. Now before we talk about the logical warfare this has on me, I think a quick disclaimer is appropriate since you, the viewer, are still watching. I do not think Bebop is an overpowered hero. I do not think all Bebop heroes play the way I am speaking about. I do however think Bebop's kit is somewhat of a design flaw, and I do think Bebop is an actual terror. Anyways, the fact that Bebop is able to forego these favorable trades early in order to snowball into the mid/late game means that even though the opposing team won the lane against this Bebop, it is able to be a net negative for your team. What do I mean by this? All those damage trades where you deal more than you take from Bebop's bomb are somewhat of a negative trade. We just established that even though you are dealing more damage, it is not always for the best. In order to truly win the lane against the Bebop, he needs to come out with minimal bomb stacks. Otherwise, he will wreak havoc on the other players who will then say in voice comms, why is this Bebop doing 400 damage with his bomb? And this is really a large part of why I find him an unenjoyable hero to play against. It often feels like a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. Even if you are winning on paper, the bomb stacks can say otherwise. Even if you are dealing more damage than taking, you're setting Bebop up for the game of his life. And believe me, this guy can take a lot of damage. He has one of the highest health pools in the game, and I get that he's a plus size body that's easy to hit, but this guy is a tank. Which brings me on to the next topic. Trophy Collector and Bebop were made for each other. It further allows a careless playstyle and once again rewards reckless behavior. I'm not sure of Bebop's philosophical beliefs. I like to call him a nihilist since he's a robot, but I wouldn't say he is. I think he does believe he has a purpose, and that purpose is to collect as many trophy and bomb stacks as possible. Jokes aside, buying Trophy Collector and constantly fighting is a legitimate strategy for Bebop, at least in most ranks. Not only does Bebop accumulate copious bomb and Trophy Collector stacks, but he causes chaos. And chaos is a powerful tool in Deadlock. It causes players to over-rotate to fight, leaving objectives open, and farm to steal. To make it even more enticing, you see the Bebop is 3 and 8, but it's a bait tactic that few can resist. To me, Deadlock is an enjoyable game because there is a scale to balance on should I fight, should I farm, should I push an objective. Overfighting is generally a negative thing, but I find that Bebop can sort of get away with it. Where most heroes will farm to get stronger, Bebop is able to permanently fight to get stronger because of his bomb stacks. This all-out warfare mentality or playstyle or whatever you want to call it reminds me of something else that I think most players will agree with and find a little annoying, which is 1-for-1 trades. Hear me out on this. During the lane stage, let's say you have 200 HP. The enemy team has a major health advantage, but because you are playing near your tower, the enemy would likely die trying to kill you, right? You have a position advantage due to cover, due to your friendly guardian, maybe you have minions that would also shoot them. Despite these advantages, some players just want to fight, and so they dive and end up killing you, but in the pursuit, they also die. In some scenarios, this is a good idea. Killing a carry and stopping their momentum can be quite good, but generally, you just lose your advantage. With that surplus of HP, the enemy is able to poke your tower, steal your farm, and essentially control the lane, leading to a victorious lane. Now, two players don't get to play the game while they wait to respawn. The reason I give this example is because I believe it encapsulates some Bebop's playstyles. No concern for their lives, always willing to die to get a kill since the bomb stack promotes it. I don't want to be a 1-for-1 player. I want to be a 2-for-1 player. If you are not carrying, you are being carried, and by dying to get one kill, you are saying you are only worth one life. It feels like Bebops are playing a game of their own. Now while Bebop's bomb is fairly easy to counter, the real opponents are your teammates. In lane, I'd say it's pretty easy to stay clear. Sure, a couple of times Bebop gets 2 stacks with 1 bomb, but it's usually not hard to avoid the double hit. Where it gets tricky is during larger team fights during the mid and late game. Players are usually caught up in the chaos of the fight, and staying clear of your team is not on the forefront of their mind. Unfortunately, this leads to lots of collateral damage, and with a relatively short cooldown, these bombs add up. But where this really drives me crazy is when Bebop uses Echo Shard, a pretty core item of most Bebop builds and can have the ability of nuking multiple players for upwards of 2k damage. Now, I understand not every hero should buy debuff remover to counter this, but when nobody on the team has it, I know it's going to be a tough game, especially when we're 20 minutes in and Bebop's bomb is already doing 10,000 damage. Since we're on the topic of game length, I think most players know that as ranks lower, game time generally increases. The average Internus game is much shorter than the average Archon game or Alchemist game. That means Bebop is inherently better in lower ranks, just like Trophy Collector is better in lower ranks. The time allows Bebop to build an atomic bomb on a 10-second cooldown. And this isn't just an observation of mine. Win rates decrease as ranks get higher for Bebop. And that's really the crux of this video. Like I said, I don't think Bebop is an overpowered hero. I just think playing against him is not fun, and I didn't even mention his other abilities, like his hook, which has the potential to be one of the best abilities in the game. Granted, you have to have some mega mind prediction to land these crazy hooks, but it's on a pretty low cooldown, and spamming them in choke points and narrow pathways, it's bound to land eventually. I also hate the duration of his ult. 11 seconds of area denial is boring to me. I can't count on both hands how many times a Bebop will ult in the middle of the lane, and I just have to hide behind a wall for 11 seconds while their teammate shoots my tower. Pause this video and count to 11 seconds. It feels like an eternity. But overall, guys, of course there is some exaggeration in this video. I do stand firm on my opinions, and I thought this would be an interesting video to make. Much love to my Bebop players out there. You guys torment me. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.